Happy Friday! What's up? This is your host, Non-Fungible TC, Non-Fungible Today, and Non-Fungible Tomorrow. And today's biggest news is that Facebook begins testing Ethereum and Polygon NFTs on profiles. So basically what happened is that, Facebook and Meta has been talking about putting NFTs on Instagram. We covered that. But now it seems like their ambition is not just on Instagram, but also on the Facebook platform as well. So what happened is that Facebook now is going to be rolling out NFTs for some US creators on its flagship social network, right? So they are starting with Ethereum and Polygon NFTs, but will soon add support for NFTs on Solana and Flow, okay? So a Meta representative told Decrypt via email, right? So this is like the first step, and basically, what happened is that this is basically how it's gonna look like, right? So this is actually the one of the people working at Meta, so he's like the product manager or something like that in Meta, right? So in the future, what will happen is that you could actually connect your your wallet with Facebook, right? And then you can actually see your NFTs, but at the same time, you could post these NFTs as posts, okay? And then it will say that this is actually a digital collectible. And what I guess is that when people click into this digital collectible, it will show maybe the details of the NFT itself. And at the same time, what you can see here is that there will be a section under Facebook that says digital collectible, okay? So this is what we have so far, and we're not sure if they're gonna make profile picture NFTs as well. But if they do, it's gonna bring in a lot of adoption, right? At the same time, I do think that it is important for Facebook and also other Web2 companies do that, right? And it is great that they are not doing it through a closed blockchain. They're not doing like NFTs only on the Facebook blockchain, but they are open to other different NFTs from different type of blockchains to enter into that ecosystem. So I think to Facebook themselves, there's another angle at play here. It is not just only wanting to maybe make money on top of what they're offering, but to really pull back the people in, right? To really get people back to using the Facebook, and to really get people who are interested in NFTs, who are interested in about the digital identity, to really come back to the platform. So I think that's the strategy rather than just to fully monetize over this, right? So it'll be interesting to see. I personally think that if this is rolled out, right now it's only rolled out to limited people in the US, but if it's fully rolled out, I definitely think that it will be a great potential to onboard the mass and also, really pave the way for mass adoption, right? So this is the biggest news today, which I think is really cool, even though we are kind of like in a bear market. And also, as you can see in Meta's new announcement when they changed the name, they have so much applications in store, right? They have so much things lined up for using the NFT technology. So it'll be interesting to see. Definitely, there is a lot of type of things that they could do, right? So look at the market today, right? The market is kind of choppy. If you look at the Asian market, everything is red. EU market, some red, some green. But then we look at the pre-market US, it slipped down, right? And also, in general, the news headlines aren't really positive. Eurozone inflation hit record. European Central Bank prepares for the first rate hike in 11 years. So basically, this news is gonna definitely affect how the EU market reacts. So if the EU market react, the US market will react, and that will in general affect the crypto market. So, but at the same time, welcome to the second half of 2022. We made it halfway, right? This is July the 1st, right? But even though this is happening, in general, everything is kind of pessimistic, right? So right now, Meta, they need to find ways to survive. Right? Meta warned employees in a memo that facing serious time, the company have to prioritize more ruthlessly, right? But at the same time, they are developing the metaverse, and also they're developing Web3 or NFT. So it seems like they are quite desperate to really generate something new. So I think they would, in some way, make things interoperable, make things open, so more people could use the platform, and then they could kind of do what they do best, right? Maybe advertise or create products, and people can use and then monetize from that. To be honest, market is really shaky, but definitely I do think that there is some, people are just playing whale games, right? Look at this, right? Look at 1 hour Bitcoin chart. You have Bitcoin going down, pump it up, and then go down, and then immediately you have like a 2 hours, 3 hours non-stop pumping back, right? So Bitcoin was at 18,000 at a point, and then it pumped all the way back to 21,000, and then now it's dumped, right? So people are saying that in the US it's gonna be a long holiday. July the 4th is coming. So July the 4th is Independence Day, which is a long holiday in the US, and also now we just finished half of the first year. There are something that talks about how hedge funds, traders have to close the book for accounting and stuff like that, and there will be less liquidity in the market. So basically what it means that if you are on the sideline, if you're looking for huge volatility, this would be the weekend, right? But at the same time, huge volatility might drive the price really further down, so there is a risk there, right? So if you are thinking of buying or not right now, I think after a huge pump, the market is really shaky. I would suggest, not financial advice, but to wait during the weekend and see what happens on the weekend and maybe make your decision, right? Because in general, the global crypto market cap right now has experienced a 0.65% increase, right? So that is due to this huge pump, right? So this is kind of like a relief pump, right? Basically, this is like kind of a dead cat, kind of in a sense, right? But it is definitely someone playing games, or some market makers playing games. But at the same time, if we look at stable coins, right, we do have a reduction in stable coin. So what it means is that some stables will move to pump this. But in general, because this is a very small increase, I think money did leave the market, right? But interestingly, Bitcoin dominance went down a little bit, slightly little, right? So it means that interest is still in out, but still the risk is very high. So if we look at the overall market, interestingly, some tokens were double digit even in such a interesting market, right? All coins are rallying, like Arweave is rallying. There's the decentralized storage solution, Sand token is rallying, and I have no idea. I went to the Instagram, I went to the Twitter. I can't see any reason why they should rally, but it's interesting to see. Maybe something is gonna be announced, maybe. So this is what usually happens in the space, right? So moving on to our next news, crypto global market cap is really on a downward trend, right? We haven't really recovered, right? In the past, when we see all of these all-time high, we're talking about 2 trillion and almost 3 trillion in the market cap. But now we are all almost less, right? Only at 20% of that, right? So definitely, yeah, long way to go in order to see these all-time highs again, and also to see the retail bullish momentum and stuff. So in on-chain data, right? On-chain data, I think to a certain extent is kind of weird, because if you look at the Bitcoin net flow, right? Reserve, it always goes out, right? Bitcoin reserve always goes out if you look at 1 month, right? But some slight uptick. But if you look at the net flow, let's see, exchange net flow, right, for Bitcoin in the last 7 days, some Bitcoin is going to the market, but a lot were taken away from the market as well. And interestingly, this was when the price kind of pumped yesterday, right? And people were buying and selling, I guess, and that's why Bitcoin were leaving the market. But if we look at Ethereum, this is a word of cautious, guys, for this weekend. In the last 3 days, a lot of Ethereum is entering into the reserve. A lot of Ethereum is entering into the exchanges, right? And Ethereum move, it could drive other altcoins to go down as well. So this is the 1 week change, right? We do see a huge spike up of Ethereum going to the exchange. So usually when this happens, it means people are here to sell. See, huge spike up. So just be careful if you're trading, guys. We look at derivative, future and options, nothing really much affecting the market if we see this. But the biggest future option expiry will be the end of July, right? As you can see here, the put and calls, right? At the same time, September the 30th. So those 2 days are gonna be really volatile as well. So if we look at this, the max paying price right now is 19,500, right? Bitcoin is below that, so basically the bears are winning right now. So we'll have yet to see. But I don't think the options and future expiry is one of the reasons for such a huge volatility. DeFi pretty much the same, nothing much. NFTs in general, kind of a really mixed market. Nothing much. There isn't really a lot of action, to be honest, for the NFT market. Because there isn't any new project update or whatever that I can see that is driving the market, or a lot of change in the traders and stuff like that, right? So but in the last 24 hours, if we can see this, Solana is actually doing quite well in the sense that there is more users on the Solana chain, so that's a good thing. And also the Wax blockchain in the last 24 hours is doing quite well. but OpenSea isn't doing so well in terms of the users, right? So it really does show you that at times, besides just looking at Ethereum, right, there might be opportunities in the Wax blockchain, maybe in the Solana blockchain as well. So if you're looking into that, so I do know that Solana had like a very high mint that I think it was called Degen something, and then people were saying that actually Sega was related to that as well. So maybe that is the reason why it drove the volume up and usage up, right? But in general, market is kind of sideways for NFTs. Sentiment is kind of cool. People are really making losses rather than making profit in the last 30 days. In terms of news, if we look at this, first news, the Department of Justice filed charges against Bored Ape Club workpool. So right now, the U.S. Department of Justice, the judiciary, is doing, it's been more aggressive in, persecuting people for conducting workpool, right? So, only in March this year, the DOJ announced its first ever case against an NFT creator for defrauding buyers. And okay, so this is the workpool NFT collection Frosties, which I talked about it on that daily update, right? So right now it seems like the Department of Justice, the U.S. judiciary, is doing more to protect the consumers, right, from workpool, and they're all really taking real action to sue these people. So hopefully that really helps up the market so that less people would be scammed. Next news, hundreds of Bored Ape owners signed up to hire out the NFTs to brand. So basically, there is this new website where it lists different type of Bored Apes, right? And then the interesting thing about this is that because Bored Apes themselves are under the like you get full commercial rights to your apes, right? So for this website, if you click into the Bored Ape, what it does is that if you want to hire it, right? If you want to use it for a product placement, merchandise, it basically asks you to fill in a form, and then it'll probably give the information to the Bored Ape owner. If you're the owner, you can claim it, and then you can receive the information and inquiry. And then at the same time, you guys could work out a way to pay the Bored Ape owner, and maybe this platform makes some money in between of that, right? So this is basically an interesting way of how using the Bored Ape as a like for commercial purposes is now becoming more structured. So I think it's interesting to share. Next news, El Salvador purchased 80 additional Bitcoin at 19,000, right? President Bukele says, right? So it really shows that, El Salvador does have conviction for this, right? So they are still loading up Bitcoin. MicroStrategy is still loading up Bitcoin. So if you have a long-term play, because this is a country, they could afford to maybe for a period of time to really buy the dip and also to survive this bearish sentiment and market, right? But if you have the conviction, and really Bitcoin has gone very far right now. Like in the past, it didn't get so much countries, so much businesses to attention, right? But now it's getting more of their attention, and there is more and more mass adoption. So definitely, I think the technology hasn't changed. The only thing that affects the price is the macro environment, right? So if you could afford it, maybe this could be a good time to buy, and hopefully in the next market we can see those high digits again, right? So another final news today, FTX walk away from a deal with Celsius after seeing states of financial sources, right? So basically FTX was interested in making a deal with Celsius but walk away because of the state of its finances, right? So Celsius had a $2 billion hole in its balance sheet, one source say. So it isn't really just, it really kind of shows you that maybe some of these companies really have some maybe accounting issues or stuff like that, because 2 billion whole basically means that okay, the 2 billion is unaccounted for, right? Where did that 2 billion come from? And that is a lot of money as well, right? So and then they weren't really transparent. They remained silent as well and stuff like that. So yeah, it really shows that sometimes we do, in a sense, that retail need more protection in a way that these companies have to be more transparent, right? Since so much money is being staked there, so many people's retirement funds are being staked there, they have to be very transparent on how they are giving away these yields, and also whether they have the liquidity to do so, and their balance sheets and stuff like that should be more transparent, okay? If they are handling a lot of funds, they are kind of like a de facto bank back then, right? So that's what I think. But it's interesting. Definitely, I think the books of Celsius must be in a way that like the state must be quite bad for FTX to walk away, because I think FTX definitely will want to make different deals in this bear market and come out stronger, right? They have a lot of money, a lot of bullets that could be used, that could be deployed, but they decide not to even touch this, right? So it seems like the situation is quite dire, and that is why Goldman Sachs might be able to use 2 billion to buy maybe an asset that's that worth 12, like an asset with borrowing and stuff like that that worth 12 million that I talked about. So that's it for this week. Probably a very volatile weekend. Because of the long holiday, and also this is the second half, like almost the second half of the year, right? But just stay there, trade safe, stop loss and stuff like that if you're still trading. Have conviction. I think in general the technology hasn't changed, the people hasn't changed, but things have gotten quieter, right? I tried asking people on the channel, no one is interested in coming up to be interviewed, and that's why there isn't a lot of interviews happening. But probably we'll upload a video about the Hong Kong situation with regards to crypto during the weekends. I have invited a friend. He's from some sort of legal background that he'll be sharing. And then hopefully if you are based in Hong Kong, you'll enjoy it and you'll be and it's informative, right? Because we're all trying to navigate in these uncertainties and help each other, and that's the spirit of Web3. So that's it. I do know that some people unsubscribe me and follow me because I've been posting a lot of short videos of my previous interviews, but for those of you who are still here, thank you for your support. Apologies for that, but I just want to upload everything and then start using short videos to get people's attention, right? So that's it. Thank you for watching. This is your host Non-Fungible TC signing out.